Hello and welcome to my presentation on how to maximize profit using Solver. I chose Apple to test out how to maximize their profit simply because Apple is one of the largest companies as of right now, and I have an iPhone XR which we'll be looking at. Plus, Professor Wheeler just got an iPhone, and I mean, come on. No, I'm just kidding. Now I picked up this income statement from Nasdaq.com, right over here. And just copy the income statement to the Excel worksheet manually. So I just physically put it in one by one. Now I made a clustered column chart to see the information a bit easier because the chart compares the first and second quarter well side by side, which is here, which is nice. This goes by the thousandths, financial performance, total revenue cost, all that, and it shows the first and second, which is great. But the second sheet, I think, takes the cake. Now, of course, slices are always great. Copy the income statement to a second sheet and made it into a table in order to make a slicer. Now, the slicer is for the financial performances, and you can pick whatever you want, and it is very detailed, of course, right there, right side by side, which is always great. Even curl, and you can just see them all by just going all at the one time, and then just clear the filter, which is always nice. I only put those first two to show how easy Excel makes finding information from data, but now comes the solver. So now let's start to the presentation. I didn't think honestly that solver was that great until I played around with it and noticed that it is pretty powerful. I took the iPhone XR, the 64 gigs, the 128, and 256. I want to see how to maximize the profit using made-up labor per hour, production time by the hour, and monthly demand. Now these numbers are made up over here, but the price is correct, and these are the iPhone 64, 128, and 256 that they do sell. The first thing I set up after the information on the top, which was over here that I made up here and got these from the internet, was the monthly production units, and I put in what we started. So for the monthly demand, I just made it the same, 500,000, 600,000, 550, so it could work with this example. To calculate profit, I took profit per unit, which is over here, per unit, times times the number of units that I sold and dragged it. So once I did H5, which is over here, and times it by H10, which is the production per unit monthly. I got my monthly profit, and I just dragged it down and got over here for all three phones. Now, if we met, then I made a total column and just put the sum of all three. It's over here. If we met monthly demand, our profit would be 1,348,350,000. But we have more constraints, which are the labor hours, which are over here, will be labor hours per unit times the number of units, and we drag that across as well. And then we have production hours, and we take time per unit times the number of production units monthly, and we just drag that, of course, across. If I left it like this, our maximized profit would be 1,348,350,000. But I add a constraint of 500,000 labor hours, 110,000 production time, and a demand constraint of 500,000, 600,000, 550. Now to find the maximized profit, we go to solver. We set our set objective. Let me go to solver right now. We go to set objective, which is already set up from previous me testing it out. We set our set objective on the cell we want to maximize, which is K11, which is over here. We're changing H10 through J10, and now we put our constraints. So over here, we are changing these three, and now we want to put our constraints. So we can start off with H10 to J10 because we want it less than or equal to our constraint. We just click and drag. So H10 to J10, and because we want a constraint less than or equal to 500,000, 600 to 550, we just drag this. Now, another constraint is 500,000, our constraint. So we go to K12, we do less than or equal to, and we go 500,000. Now we do the same with K13, which is our production time, less than or equal to 110,000. Now once we do that, the same, now that we have our constraints, we can now click solve, and bam, solver found a solution. All constraints and optimality conditions are satisfied. So as you can see, it went to the constraints, and we actually have less production time. Constraint is 500,000, so it equals with all that, and it goes perfectly. So now our labor hours got maxed out, and we used a bit less of production time than the constraint was. This project taught me, well, first before I actually go to the project, just keep solver solution, and now instead of, what was it before, 1,348,350,000, it's 1,082,455,333.46, which is great, and that is actually the maximize with the constraints there. Now, this project taught me that Solver is a great tool in the real world to use, but not only Solver, even though I did not use it, Visual Basics is a great tool to use as well. Thank you for enhancing my skills in Excel, and hope you enjoy your vacation.